Hello, everybody, and welcome to my podcast, The Long Game with Alison, where we will be talking about all things health, wellness, business, mindset, growth, all of that. I would really appreciate if you would like and subscribe to this podcast so you never miss an episode. And if you're on YouTube, hello, welcome, and subscribe so you don't miss a video. On to the episode. Welcome to episode 2 of my podcast. Thank you all for being here, and hello if you're watching on YouTube. Firstly, I just wanted to say thank you so much to everyone that watched episode 1, and I'm really grateful for all of the feedback, the likes and the comments. So lovely of you all, and it really does help me to improve your experience of this podcast and helps me to improve my skills. So thank you so much. And if you can keep liking, sharing, subscribing, I'd be really grateful because it helps me to grow this podcast and to reach and support more people. So today I wanted to talk about strength training. So at the moment it is such a big buzzword with strength training and longevity. You hear it everywhere. It's all over social media. Listening to different podcasts, they're all talking about strength training and longevity, and in the gyms it's obviously becoming more popular. People are just generally joining gyms more. You're seeing more gyms pop up, more classes are becoming available, building strength, and the general health and well-being industry is just expanding hugely, and everyone's talking about lifting weights, and it's massively become a buzzword. And what's really interesting is that it didn't actually begin as a health movement at all. Like, it is only very recently that this has become something that everyone should be doing. When research first started into strength training and resistance training, it actually started growing in the 1950s, 1960s, and the focus was mainly on bodybuilding and athletic performance, and it was heavily male dominated and centered around building really big muscles, bigger physiques, lifting really, really heavy weights. And it was like the extreme. People either did it or they did it to the max. And you had obviously your era of bodybuilding with Arnold Schwarzenegger as your public figure. And he still is today. Obviously, there is still people that bodybuild and will aspire to have a physique like his and will appreciate the hard work that went in to what he did. But it was very, very male dominated and men wanting to look more muscular. And for years, the concern was that people would look muscle bound or less athletic if they lifted heavy weights. But then the research started to shift a little bit in the 70s, and through the 80s and 90s, more scientists started asking questions about how it can actually help the human body. And it moved from bodybuilding to what else can it do? Does it have to be that extreme? Do they have to build really big muscles and get these physiques, or can another version of strength training benefit the body without going to that extent? And yes, we can all appreciate that, but not everyone aspires to do that. People actually maybe just want to be a little bit stronger and feel a bit better about themselves. And for decades, women were encouraged towards aerobics and toning and weren't encouraged to lift weights because they would look bulky, and it's not right for females to lift weights. And that was the society back then. That was the views on weightlifting and who should be doing it. And I still get a lot of clients that come to me now and will say, I just want to tone up. I don't want to lift the heavy weights because it's going to make me bulky. But it isn't. and also toning up is such a minefield of a goal, because what is toned up for me is completely different to another person and to my client who's come in and said, I want to look toned up. And I always say, but what does that look like for you? Because again, it is different for everybody. And also those that come to me and say, I don't want to get bulky. And that is the industry plugging it into us that that's what's going to happen if we lift weights, which isn't the case. I mean, yes, we can get there now. The bodybuilding industry is male and female dominated. There is females now that will go into bodybuilding and that's what they want to do. And that's amazing that we've managed to have this shift and that females can be involved in that industry as well. But it's not everybody's goals, and that's also okay. If that's what you want to inspire to do, then go for it and just make sure you're following the correct training plan and you've got a coach to help you towards that, because the effect on the female body is a lot more than a male, because genetically our physiques aren't made to look that way. But it is possible. It's just being mindful of things like your hormones and everything. So if that is the direction you want to take, make sure you do get yourself a coach that can look after you and get you to where you want to be in the correct way, in a safe way. But if you do just want to feel stronger and tone up, then lifting weights isn't going to make you bulky. That's not going to happen. If that's what you don't want to happen, you can still get that muscle definition without building excessive muscles. But unfortunately, it has just been drilled into us so much over the years that that's what will happen. So I think it's great that more information is being put out there on strength training, and is why I wanted to jump on the subject, because I want to teach people that that's not the case, and you can lift weights, you can feel confident in that weight section in the gym and achieve some amazing body goals without the fear that it's not acceptable. So yeah, I'm just going to refer to my notes, sorry. I didn't want to get sidetracked, but I kind of went off in a little bit of a tangent. So yeah, I wanted to go back to strength training and longevity. So the reason it's become such a buzzword now is because more research has been done about how our body changes from the age of 30. So from the age of 30, our muscle mass declines more quickly, our bone density declines more quickly, your metabolism changes, your hormones start changing. And strength training has now been researched enough to know that if you do lift weights, if you do strength training, if you do body weight, if you do resistance machines, if you do resistant bands, all that kind of training helps to slow down that aging process. So if you didn't do strength training or any sort of resistance body weight, from the age of 30, when you have a fall, you're more likely to do more damage than if you were in your 20s, just because of that slow decline. And obviously some bodies decline quicker than others. But if you're doing these movements and the strength and the functional movements and the conditioning, you're going to decrease that from happening. So if you do have a fall, you're less likely to break a bone or really cause some damage. And also you're going to help to keep that bone density at a higher level and stop it declining as quickly as it would if you didn't. And also those movements help later on in life. So if you're doing, for example, an overhead shoulder press, you're going to be able to put your shopping in a cupboard in your 80s. Your squats, you're going to be able to get in and out of a chair easier. It's being able to pick up things off the floor, pick up the grandchildren. carry your shopping bags, all of the functional movements that you do now with a weight or via a machine is going to help you to be able to maintain your independence longer and longer in life, which I think is so much better. I don't want to be 80 years old relying on someone else to be able to put my shopping away, or to put my shopping bags in the car, or to get them out of the car and into the house, or walk down the road with the shopping, or if I have a fall and I can't get myself up. So that's a big thing as to why I advocate the strength training so much, because I want people to keep their independence for as long as possible. And obviously we don't know what health concerns and issue may pop up in life. Sometimes things just happen and we can't help that. But if we can take small steps and actions now to help us in the future, then I think it's really important that we get on board with that. And it doesn't have to be excessive amounts. There's a lot that we can get access to now. As I say, there's a lot more gyms popping up and wellbeing centres. There's videos online, so if you didn't want to go to a gym every week, you can do stuff at home with very limited equipment, or if you've got the kit at home, amazing, you can follow on. You've got coaches online, you've got PTs. There's so many avenues that you can take to get the advice and the knowledge to do what suits you. And it's finding what you enjoy, because there's nothing worse than not enjoying what you're doing. So find something that's suitable for you and combine it with getting out on your walks, getting your steps in. I do recommend people still keep up some sort of cardio as well, because it just helps your heart health. So combine the two, find something you enjoy. I know some people that will just go on a little walk, so they're getting their cardio fitness, but they'll carry a couple of 2 kg hand weights, and that's their walk, because they're getting a little bit of strength in there and supporting their bodies that way. So there's lots of different avenues you can take to incorporate your strength training into your daily life and just support that longevity. And as I say, it is such a buzzword, so that is why I wanted to hop on and share. But also, strength and conditioning isn't just about helping us as we age. It's more research has been done about how it can support the endurance athletes as well. So previously, you either did, for example, running. So running has always been around. Obviously, the London Marathon has been around since the 80s. And you either did running or you did this bodybuilding. They've never really combined the two. And runners didn't lift weights or do strength training, or vice versa. But now more research has come in about how strength training can support your endurance athletes as well. So it helps to reduce injuries and things like that, again, for runners. So they're helping to keep their bodies moving in between their runs. So they'll do a little bit of strength and conditioning to help them stay injury free. It also can support fat loss. So if you're wanting to reduce your body fat, combining the two can help support that. You're also improving your posture and your running style. And if you do have an injury, you can do your strength and conditioning to rehab you back into running, so you come back stronger and you also don't lose all of your fitness. Because previously, if you had an injury running, you would just have to stop everything, because there was nothing else that you could do until that was healed. But now more research has been done, so if you do pick up an injury in one area, you can do other things to help keep your fitness going, so then when you're able to get back, You're not starting from complete scratch. So yeah, there's a lot of benefits, not just from the longevity and the aging process, but also athletes are being encouraged more and more to do their strength and conditioning. So I have obviously some runners that come to me, and I always give them a couple of days of strength and conditioning to help support their running. And it's amazing how much stronger they can be, especially when you put like an effort session in. The legs have got more power to get through the harder sessions. So the two combined now are, yeah, they've really come together. So I just think it's amazing that in such a short space of time that the industry is completely flipped. So yeah, being strong does matter, not just performance or aesthetics. So that is my little podcast for today. Hope you enjoyed that. If you've got any questions about strength training or would like some support, then do pop me a message and I will help answer any questions if I can. If not, I will direct you to where you can find out some more information if I can't help. And I will also put the references in the captions. So if you want to find out where I got some of my research, then I will have that all in the captions. Please, again, like, share, help me to grow the podcast, give me some feedback about this episode, and I will look forward to seeing you all on episode 3 next week.